quickly as we received it, we got a copy. So I understand that he just did receive it, but it was, she just said this might help her. I don't even know what it would be, but by looking at it, she'd be able to say on this date, this is where I was doing this job.
Well, Your Honor, it's important. It's this Portuguese language on here. I can't read it. I think it suggests that things were added as to what she saw at different times. We need to be able to interpret this, to look at it, and to use it to cross her. We can't do that on the fly. So I would ask that.
Is that one of the witnesses that needs an interpreter?
No, Your Honor.
I would ask that she be deferred, Your Honor.
Or at least, Your Honor, if maybe I'd present her to have a conversation, just say, you know, what is it? We could just ask her, what is it about these things that have any... she mentioned yesterday when I asked her a question, she said, oh, my calendar, if I look at that, I'll know the days I work there. That's what my quick look at this shows. They're just names of appointments.
How about this one?
Well, we can ask her. I mean,
well, I don't want to ask in front of the jury. You know.
No, but she's not going to be the first witness anyway, so maybe at the lunch break we could...
That's fine, lunch break, Your Honor.
Maybe by then we'll have located a certified interpreter.
As long as we have time, Your Honor. The other issue, Your Honor, I think that they may do what amounts to an in-court show-up of an inanimate object with these witnesses. And I didn't think that issue was going to come up yet, but here we are. And I want to just tell the court that I think that, I mean, this goes back to Commonwealth v. Simmons, 383 Mass 46, 1981, where the SJC said that the degree of suggestiveness of an ID procedure concerning an inanimate object could either rise to the denial of due process or be inadmissible under a balancing test. There have been a couple of recent cases. Just a few weeks ago, Your Honor, there was a case, Commonwealth v. Priscilla, 470 B-R-E-S-I-L-L-A, 470 Mass 244. In that case, there was a jacket that the witnesses had identified at the scene, and the SJC said it was not an abuse of discretion for there to be what amounted to a show-up of that jacket in the courtroom. However, I think in the case where, in this case, Your Honor, my understanding is that the witness's identification of any particular weapon in that house, Your Honor, in the discovery we've gotten, I believe it's equivocal, and therefore it would fall more as opposed to an actual ID that they're simply reaffirming in court, and therefore it would be more comparable to another recent SJC case, Commonwealth v. Collins, 470 Mass 255, 2014. Granted, that was talking about an ID of a person, not an inanimate object, but the court said there that, where there's an equivocal out-of-court ID, and then there's an attempt to do an in-court ID of the defendant, which amounts to a show-up, it'll be treated as a show-up, and will be admitted only where there is good cause based upon a showing by the Commonwealth. So I just want to flag this issue for the court, because I don't want them to be able to basically show these witnesses that 22 Hernandez and ask them, is this the gun you saw? Because that is a show-up. It is highly suggestive. It is unnecessarily suggestive. And it is conducive to mistaken identification, as in this line of cases. And I ask that
the 470 one you just
I'm sorry, Your Honor?
The 470 Mass, what was the site?
Priscilla, it's 470 Mass 244. It's just a few weeks ago, Your Honor. That was a case involving the jacket. It's January 16th, 2015, written by Justice Cordy. I have a copy if the court wants it. And I guess the related issue, Your Honor, is just what are they going to be allowed to describe based on the court's pretrial rulings about various items and their admissibility or non-admissibility of this trial.
Not excluded them describing something that would be seeing something
that would be consistent with a 45 or a 22.
Right, they can describe what they saw. I agree that that's what the court ruled. But that's different than showing them something. And it would have to be consistent with a Glock 45, Your Honor, given the allegations in this case.
Your Honor, at this time, I don't intend to, obviously, I'd have them describe them. Depending upon the cross-examination, that may or may not become relevant, so I would say no, at this time I would not.
It raises, however, the question, to the extent they're describing a weapon that may be consistent with a 22 or a 45, a limiting instruction to the jury. On a 45, if it's a weapon that would be consistent in size with a Glock 45, the defendant is not charged with committing any crime, including unlawful possession of a firearm, other than the charges contained in the indictment. Testimony by a witness about an object that may have been seen in the defendant's residence cannot be considered by you as proof the defendant has a propensity to commit any of the crimes charged or as evidence of bad character. If you credit such evidence, you may consider it to the extent you find it relevant solely on the issue of whether the defendant had the means to commit the murder charged or to arm another with whom he was aiding and abetting with the means to commit the murder charged, and you can't consider it for any other purpose. And similarly, with respect to the 22, essentially the same, but if you credit the evidence, you can consider it to the extent you may find it relevant solely on the issue of whether the defendant had the means to be armed with or to arm another with whom he was aiding with a 22 caliber firearm during the commission of that crime.
We'd like that, Your Honor. Thank you.
Apparently is a Portuguese interpreter in the building, but not yet available for this courtroom. So we should be able to start with the one that doesn't need an interpreter. And oh, there she is. Is that her? Why don't we start with the one that doesn't need an interpreter? If that is the Portuguese interpreter there, before you do cross of that witness, if that's if that's the one with the calendar, we'll take a break and you can get the calendar items interpreted.
The Portuguese interpreter is here, Your Honor.
Thank you. So which one are you going to start with? Are you going to start with the one that needs the
We have an officer first, Your Honor, who shouldn't be too long, and then we have a different witness who would not need an interpreter and is not the one.
Okay, so it's 11:45. What time do you tell the interpreter to be back in the room so she's not?
Your Honor, I would say 12:30 thereafter.
And if you can, is there a phone number that you can be reached at? If you could make sure, if you could give the court officer. Thank you. Thank you. And you'll be in the building, right, somewhere in the building?
Yes, there's an interpreter's office on the fourth floor.
Thank you.
The interpreter will be there.
Thank you very much. But just leave your phone number before you. And we can bring the jurors back.
17, you want to bring them down, please.
Belmont Falls, William Tabakis, please.
Right this way, sir, please follow me. Please face the clerk and raise your right hand.
You solemnly swear that your testimony will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes, I do.
Have a seat, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Please state your name for the record and spell that last name.
My name's William Tarbokis. It's spelled Tarbokkas.
And what do you do for a living, sir?
I'm employed by the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. I'm a sergeant with the state police, and I work for the Crime Scene Services section.
Within the Crime Scene Services section, what is your particular responsibilities?
Particular responsibilities within the Crime Scene Services section is we are responsible to respond to crime scenes. We'll document those scenes using photography, video. We'll generate diagrams, sketches of a scene. We'll also respond to the Office of the Medical Examiner and take documentary photographs for him as requested. Once we're at a scene or if we receive evidence in from a scene, we'll process that evidence for latent fingerprints. We'll process the scene for footwear or tire track impressions. We'll then do comparisons of the questioned impressions to try and determine a source.
How long have you worked in that particular area within the state police?
Since October of 2005, so a little over 9 years.
And with particular attention to fingerprints, what level of training have you had with regards to fingerprint taking?
Initially, upon coming into the unit, we're required to complete approximately a 10-week in-house training program where we're required to conduct readings, conduct controlled exercises. We're required to observe other examiners doing the work, perform development techniques on various items, learn photography, and how to take videos of scenes. And then after that, we're given a competency test, which is just an overall test of crime scene and basic of latent print development and comparison. We're then sent out to our individual laboratory. We'll work for approximately the remainder of a year under the tutelage of a trained examiner. And then I've also attended numerous outside trainings.
Any of those trainings involve fingerprints themselves?
Yes, I do.
Okay. What is the significance of a fingerprint? In other words, why do you take fingerprints?
We take fingerprints because it's a means of identifying somebody had touched an object. The fingerprints are unique to the individual, and they stay with that individual throughout their whole life.
What parts of a fingerprint are necessary to determine the uniqueness?
Basically, any of the friction-ridged skin. The friction-ridged skin would be the skin from the wrist bracelet all the way up to the tips of your fingers, also on the heels of your feet, all the way from the heel of your foot all the way to the tip of your toes. It's different from the rest of the skin on the body, as in it's hairless, and it's formed by a series of dermal ridges. Each one of these little ridge sections is made up of a pore that leads up to the surface of the ridge section. There's a pore on the surface with a sweat gland deeper into the ridge underneath. And what happens is the sweat comes up through and coats the surface of the friction-ridged skin, and when that comes in contact with an item, that's what we refer to as a fingerprint or a latent print.
And within the fingerprint itself, or within the latent print, what are you comparing?
We're comparing the actual ridges themselves. A ridge will do one of three things. It will continue all the way through a print, starting on one side, going all the way at the other. It will end at some point, or it will join another print. We refer to these as ridge endings, a bifurcation where two ridges come together, or a continuous ridge that flows through. And each one of these ridges, each person's friction skin is individual in the way it's formed, and we use the individual structures or the minutia within the prints where they come together, where they end, or if we have two endings next to each other, we'll look at the location of each one of those in sequence to determine where it came from.
Within the field, is there a necessary number of those unique identifying splits or comes together necessary to consider something to be a comparable fingerprint?
There's no set number. It's a holistic approach, or it's a complete, you look at it in total. Each ridge ending can have its own, what we refer to as level 3 detail. There are 3 different levels of detail. Number 1 being, first of all, just the ridge flow. The ridge flows in from one side, around, and out the other side. Level 2 detail, which I refer to as the minutia, would be, does that ridge end at a certain point, or does it join another ridge? Level 3, an ending ridge can look different from another ending ridge. Some of them may have a bulbous end on them. Some of them may come tapering out to a point. And we look at the total print and do each one of the individual ridges that run through in sequence with the known print match that. And then when we come to an ending ridge, does the ending ridge look the same as that ridge? So depending on how unique the characteristics are in the print, depends on how much you need to actually come to a conclusion.
Now, what are major case prints?
Major case prints are exemplars of all the friction ridge detail from the wrist bracelet all the way up to the tips of the fingers.
And how are those taken in particular?
Those are taken by, we use a black ink. We'll apply that to the surface of the hand. We'll then place the hand onto a contrasting background, usually a fingerprint card, and the impression that's left behind would be referred to as major case prints.
And do you take both hands
Yes, we do.
and all fingers?
Yes, we do.
Any other part of the hand?
No, it would just be the friction ridge surface, which is from the wrist bracelet all the way to the tips of the finger. The back of the hand is covered in hair, and there's no ridge structure on that, so there'd be nothing to compare.
In this particular case, did you attend the autopsy of Odin Lloyd?
Yes, I did.
And where was that?
That was at the State Medical Examiner's office in Sandwich.
And as a part of your attending the autopsy of Odin Lloyd, did you take the major case prints of him?
Yes, I did.
And you now 4 cardboard cards, and ask you to recognize those.
Yes, I do.
And what are those in general?
These are what we refer to as major case prints.
I hand you this smaller half card, ask you what in particular that one is.
This would be the fingertip section for the right thumb, from right thumb to the right little finger of Odin Lloyd.
Ask that to be marked as an exhibit on this.
No objection.
Imagine, hand you another of the half cards, ask you to recognize what that one is.
This is the other fingertip impression. It'd be from the left thumb to the left little finger of Odin Lloyd.
And who took those?
I did.
And where were they taken?
They were taken at the State Medical Examiner's office in Sandwich.
Ask this to be marked as an exhibit as well, Your Honor.
No objection.
Next exhibit.
Ask, you take a look at this larger card, and ask you what that is.
This would be the right palm. We refer to it as a palmar exemplar. It'd be, as best we can, the total recording of the friction ridge skin from the wrist bracelet all the way up to the tips of the finger of Odin Lloyd.
Did you take that as well?
Yes, I
And
did.
that was at the autopsy as well?
Yes, it was.
Move to obey, Your Honor.
No objection.
Next exhibit.
And then finally, show the
would be the left palm to include all the way from the wrist bracelet to the tips of the fingers of Golden Lloyd.
And you take this in Cohasset as well?
It's in Sandwich, yes, sir.
Excuse me. And this is over in Lloyd as well?
Yes, it is.
Move to amend, Your Honor.
No objection.
Next exhibit.
When they do that.
Yeah, public hearing. Joining you first is the Marcus number 188. On this particular card here, number 188, could you just describe for me what we're looking at in terms of the particular sort of detail on the actual boxes?
These will be the distal or the fingertip impressions of Golden Lloyd. The one on the farthest to the left on the screen would be from the right thumb, then continuing down through the other fingers all the way to the right little finger on the right-hand side.
And if you could, how do you actually take those prints on a person who's deceased?
We have to use and as I said, we use a black ink and a roller. We'll ink up the person's hand, and then we'll press the hand onto the card or the paper that we're using to take the impression.
Directing your attention to the box card R index, I note that there appears to be white areas within the print. What causes that?
That's caused either by contamination on the hand, or in this case, it was from deterioration of the skin due to the victim being deceased.
And is that the same for the other similar white areas that you see that sort of look like lines across the other prints as well?
For some of them, others are just the flexion creases and the normal creases that are on the skin on a normal person.
What's a fletching crease?
A flexion crease is the creases in between each one of the digits on your finger. It's where the skin folds together when you move your finger.
Okay, and the one that we're looking at here, is this the right or the left hand?
This would be the right hand.
Showing this is marked 189. And ask you, which hand is that?
That is from the left hand of Golden Lloyd.
What did you do with these prints after you took them, sir?
After I took them, I went back to the lab, I itemized them in our tracking system, and I forwarded them on to the case officer for use in any comparisons that needed to be done.
Take a look at number 191 here. I know that there's a barcode in the upper left-hand corner of this particular print. What is that for?
That's what we refer to as a LIMS label, or it's part of our laboratory management system. It just generates an item number and the case number, and the barcode itself just contains all that information so that it can be scanned and tracked as it moves through the system.
The signature in the upper right-hand corner, is that yours?
Yes, it is.
What does the 2281 refer to?
That's my ID number.
Now, just turning attention to 191 here, what are we looking at?
This would be the left palm exemplar for Golden Lloyd.
I know that there's a sort of a separate column here. What is that for?
That's what we refer to as the writer's palm. It's basically a second impression that we do of the side of the hand as if somebody was writing something, the part of the hand that would come in contact with the surface.
And finally, number 190. Ask if you recognize what that is.
That would be the right palm exemplar card for Golden Lloyd.
No further questions. Thank you, sir.
Good afternoon, Trooper.
Good afternoon, sir.
Would you agree with me, sir, that everybody makes mistakes?
Check.
Sustained.
Would you agree with me, sir, that mistakes are sometimes made by fingerprint analysts?
Yes, errors have been made by fingerprint analysts.
So it's not an infallible science, is it?
Nothing that humans are involved in is infallible, sir.
And you told us on direct examination, when you were asked about the process, you described it as a holistic approach. Recall that testimony?
Yes, I do.
And is another way to describe the process a subjective process?
No, we perform an objective analysis.
Okay.
When I refer to a holistic approach, I mean we take into account the totality of the detail we're seeing, not just the individual points that might be present in a print.
So there's no particular number of points of similarity which is required for you to declare two fingerprints a match, right?
No, it's on an individual basis, depending on, as I stated, the uniqueness of the detail and the amount of detail that's present there.
So is it fair to say that you basically look, when you're doing a fingerprint comparison, you have usually two fingerprints side by side that you're comparing?
Yes.
Okay. And you're looking at both of them together, right?
Yes.
Okay. And based on your looking at these two prints and comparing them, you as the analyst, you make a judgment as to whether or not they are so similar as to lead you to conclude that to declare a match. Is that fair?
Yes, we perform analysis, and if we reach a threshold that we feel that the print is definitely made by that person, we'll come to a conclusion.
Right, but that's based on your judgment looking at the two fingerprints side by side, right?
It's based on the minutia that's present in the print.
Well, but it's your judgment analyzing that minutia, correct?
My conclusion would be my opinion, yes.
Okay. Sir, do you consider yourself a scientist?
I work in a scientific field. I consider myself an analyst where I have received specialized training and I perform function based on a scientific principle.
Okay. Do you know what confirmation bias is?
Yes, I do, sir.
Please tell the jury what confirmation bias is.
Confirmation bias is a theory that people come to a conclusion based on what people expect them to come to because somebody else has already come to that conclusion, being as if somebody says that a print is a match, the next person that it's given to will also find it to be a match.
Well, and it's not just whether somebody else has already looked at a particular comparison. Doesn't confirmation also refer to, in your field, the interpretation of evidence in ways that are partial to existing beliefs, expectations, or hypotheses?
Yes, it could include that also.
So if you have certain information that you've gotten from some other source, am I correct that the concern about confirmation bias is that that information can even subconsciously influence your judgment when you're comparing, for example, two fingerprints side by side?
I don't believe that it does, no.
Well, is that what confirmation bias is, sir?
That is the theory of confirmation bias, yes it is.
Okay. Well, it's more than a theory, isn't it?
I don't understand the question, sir.
Well, in fact, confirmation bias is a well-recognized psychological fact, isn't it?
It is accepted that confirmation bias does exist. However, there's never been any proof that it is interfered in the comparison of latent prints.
Well, that's not what I asked. Well, let me ask you that. Okay. Are you familiar, sir, with the expert working group on human factors in latent print analysis of the National Institute of Standards and Technology of the National Institute of Justice? Ever hear of that group?
I've heard, yes, that they've been doing the study, yes.
And have you ever read the report that was issued by that working group in 2012?
By that working group or the NAS report?
I'm asking you, may I approach her? I'm not going to ask him to read the report. I'm just going to show it to him and see if he recognizes it. Yes, sir. So your document, sir, is that a document that you are familiar with?
No, it's not, sir. I've seen the part of it, but I haven't read it in total, no.
Okay. So you've seen either a summary or excerpts of this report, is that fair to say?
Yes.
Okay. And by the way, this expert working group on human factors in latent print analysis, do you know whether former State Police Lieutenant Kenneth Martin is a member of that working group?
I believe he is, yes.
Okay. And tell the jury, please, who is former State Police Lieutenant Kenneth Martin?
He was the section commander when I first transferred into the unit. He's a analyst with the state. He was an analyst with the State Police who attained the rank of detective lieutenant before he retired. He was also the president of the International Association for Identification at one point.
Okay. Now, or expect to see?
If you're saying that is what they're claiming the confirmational bias is?
Asking would you agree with that statement?
Would you agree with that statement based on your understanding as somebody who's trained in fingerprint analysis in this field? Your understanding of does your understanding of confirmation bias encompass the fact that when confronted with ambiguous information, people tend to see what they hope or expect to see?
Yes.
And would you agree with me, sir, that in that regard, extraneous information, that is information received from some other source, can influence people acting in good faith and attempting to be fair interpreters of the evidence?
No, I would not when it comes to the individualization of a fingerprint, no.
So you don't think that getting information from somebody else, for example, as to who the prosecution hopes these fingerprints belong to, or who the prosecution expects these fingerprints to belong to, your testimony is that that information cannot influence you in any way. Is that your testimony, sir?
I'm saying that it doesn't because of the way we're trained and the way that we do it, yeah.
So is it your testimony, sir, that you, as an individual, are immune from the recognized phenomenon of confirmation bias, sir?
I'm not saying that I'm immune. I'm saying the way that we perform our analysis, we have what we refer to as verifications. And the first person will do the analysis, come to a conclusion. The second people, the way we were trained, is the second and third person doing the analysis are looking for discrepancies to try and falsify that or to come to a different conclusion. And only after they completely analyze the print, if they're unable to falsify it, then they'll come to the conclusion that it is the same person.
Well, would you agree with me, sir, that appropriate and proper procedures in this or any other forensic discipline would require that the individual doing the comparison not have outside information that could influence his or her analysis? Isn't
No.
that the way it should be done?
No, it'd be impossible to do it that way, sir.
Well, in your reading of the summary or excerpts of the report I showed you, are you aware of a recommendation contained in the report that...
Objection, Your Honor.
Overall.
Are you aware of a recommendation contained in the report that you have read in part, that procedures should be implemented to protect examiners from exposure to extraneous information in a case? You aware of that recommendation, sir?
Yes, I am.
And do you disagree with that recommendation, sir?
I didn't say I disagreed. I
Well, I'm
said
asking you now, sir. Do you disagree with that recommendation? Yes or no?
No.
Thank you, sir.
Is there anything in particular with regards to fingerprints that make them resistant to any kind of misinterpretation due to bias?
Could you rephrase the question?
What is it about fingerprints that makes them resistant to this sort of bias that's been suggested?
That we're looking at them removed from the extraneous information. We're looking at under glass. We're looking at the ridges in sequence, and we're going one to another to determine if they, in fact, share individual characteristics. And if we find something does not share or an unexplained discrepancy, at that point we'll rule it out as being the source. And as I stated before, when we're trained, the way we train our verifiers is that they look for any discrepancy that the first person may have overlooked to try and falsify it. And then if they are unable to falsify that or say that's not from that person, only then will they sign and say that it is from that person.
Thank you. Millie Brown.
Nothing further?
Yes, I can.
There you are. Marilia Prinholero, please.
Right this way, ma'am. Just follow me, okay? Face the Clerk, and raise your right hand.
You solemnly swear that your testimony will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes.
Please be seated.
Lucy?
Good morning, ma'am.
Morning.
Would you state your full name, please?
Marilia Prignolato.
And could you spell your first name?
Marilia.
And how about your last name?
P as in professor, R-I, N as in Nancy, H-O-L-A-T as in Thomas, O.
And how old are you, ma'am?
28 years old.
And where are you originally from?
Brazil.
And how long ago did you come to America?
On September 2009, so it would be like 5 years and a half almost.
Okay. And when you came to America, where did you first live?
In Virginia,
And were you working there?
as an au pair.
And just what is an au pair?
Yeah,
What is an au pair? What were your work duties?
like a nanny.
I see. And after working there for some period of time, did you move to Massachusetts?
Yes.
And what caused you, what brought you to Massachusetts?
Yeah, because I dreamed to study at the Harvard College.
Okay. And when you say you dreamed about that, did you study in Brazil?
Yeah.
What kind of work, what kind of courses?
Yeah, I am graduated at business administration.
I see. And so when you said you dreamed about going to Harvard, did you look into going to Harvard?
Yes.
And were you able to do that?
Yes.
And did you ever visit Harvard College?
Yes.
And did you end up going to Harvard?
I didn't go it because it's like too expensive for me.
I see. And at some point, did you then go somewhere else? Have you taken courses here in Massachusetts?
Yes.
And where are you taking courses?
At Mass Bay Community College.
And what kind of courses have you continued?
Was a accounting certificate program.
Okay. Now, during the time, excuse me, how long have you lived in Massachusetts?
5 years.
And during the 5 years that you've been living here, have you been working?
Yes.
What kind of work do you do?
My first work here was at Domino's Pizza
Okay. And what kind of work were you doing there?
as a driver.
And later on, did you find additional work, other work?
Yes.
And what kind of work was that?
Was a house cleaning.
Okay. And how long have you worked, or did you work as a house cleaner?
I don't remember for sure, but between 2 and 3 years.
Okay. And where were you living at that time when you were working as a house cleaner?
When I started,
Yes,
was
ma'am.
in Framingham.
Okay. And just generally, where were your jobs taking you? What towns were you working in?
Everywhere in Massachusetts.
Okay. And were you working for yourself, or were you working for others?
On the beginning, I had my own company.
Okay. And
I
when you
worked by myself.
I see. Okay. And later on, did you not work?
I sold my schedule, and I started to work with Grazi.
Okay. When you say you started to work with Grazi, do you know what Grazi's full name is?
Yes,
What is that, ma'am?
Graziele Silva.
Okay. And do you know where Graziella Silva is from?
Yes, Brazil.
Okay. Now, when you say you're from Brazil, what is your native language?
Portuguese.
Okay. And did you study English before you came to this country?
Yes,
And have you studied English since you've been in America?
yes.
Now, with Graziella Silva, how long did you work for her?
Only 3, like between, I don't remember for sure because like a long time ago, like 2 years ago, but I think like between 1 month and 3 months.
Okay. And you know, let me direct your attention to the approximately beginning of May of 2013.
Yes.
Do you remember working for her at that time?
Yes.
And during the course of time that you were working for her, what types of places were you cleaning?
Houses around North Ouroboro, around like in surrounding areas.
Okay. Was it typically just homes, or did you ever clean offices or businesses?
Like, I think I remember just one office, but because the person, the owner of the office, it's already a client of her, so she cleaned her house too.
I see, okay.
But she typically clean just house.
I see. Now, at some point, you said you cleaned, did some work in North Attleboro,
Yes,
and was that with Graziella Silva or somebody that she knew?
yes.
Okay, and what house did you clean in North Attleboro?
Many houses.
Many houses? And let me ask you this, did you ever clean the house of an individual named Aaron Hernandez?
Yes,
And did you also know a woman who lived at the house, Shayana Jenkins?
yes.
Okay. How many times did you clean that house?
About between 4 and 7 times.
Okay. And going back to approximately May 1st of 2013, how frequently would you be cleaning the house of Aaron Hernandez or Shayana Jenkins?
Every Tuesdays.
Okay. And when I mentioned...
Sometimes the schedule changed, but usually I was every Tuesdays.
I see. Now, when I mentioned the name Aaron Hernandez, do you see that person in this courtroom?
Yes.
Okay, can you just point to him and describe what he's wearing?
It's with a tie, pink tie, with a dressed shirt and smoke.
Your Honor, if the record could reflect the witness identifying the defendant. Now, when would you go on Tuesdays? What would be the hours that you would go to clean the house of the defendant, Mr. Hernandez?
We expend a lot of time there.
Okay. And when you say, excuse me, a lot of time, how much time or some number of hours?
Like, we usually start in the morning, sometimes in the afternoon, depends on the schedule, but we usually start in the morning and we expend about like 5, 6, sometimes 7 hours there.
I see. And just describe that house that you would clean. How big or small was it?
Very big house. There was like about, I don't remember for sure on the second floor, but it was about 1, 2, 3, 4, I think like 4 bedrooms and like 1, 2, 3, I think 4 bathrooms, 2 one on each bedroom. And on downstairs there was like a big living room, big kitchen. There was another stairs that near the garage door that goes to another like playroom upstairs with another bathroom, but like a different part, not like together with the other bedrooms. And on the first floor there was like an office and another like room with just like some, I don't remember for sure if it's on his house, on Jared Mayo's house, but I remember like a piano or something. I think it was Jared Mayo, but his house, like another room, like just empty, no TV, not on that, like a small living room also, and a big living room with a TV that you can see upstairs from the couch, like a hallway that connected the 2 bedrooms, the guest bedroom to the other bedrooms, like the master bedroom and the little girl bedroom.
I see.
And then downstairs there was a basement with a pool table, with like a little bar, 1 guest room, 1 like little fitness thing, and like a theater that with a big screen, like a TV, and like some couch like near the pool table, I think.
I see. And would you clean all those areas of the home?
Yeah.
And when you said, I think at one point you had said, well, when we clean, were you doing this by yourself or with others?
Yeah, with others.
Okay. And just on the outside, if you describe the outside area around the home.
Yeah, like a garden outside on the front, a little garden, like with a driveway beside the like, if you are in front of the house, it would be like on the left side driveway, What else? Like pretty big house, like a gray.
What about in the backyard?
Yeah, there was like a pool.
Okay. And now, over the course of these number of times that you were there, did you ever have any interaction with the defendant, Mr. Hernandez?
Not like, just like I think once, like hi, like not like a long conversation, never.
Okay. Now, you said you worked there approximately how many times?
Like between 4 to 7 times.
And just going back to the first time, I'm sorry, maybe the second time you were there. Well, let me ask you this. Do you ever recall cleaning the basement?
Yes.
And how many times would you say you've cleaned that basement?
I probably clean every time that I came there.
Now, approximately the second time that you were there, you described there was a guest room in the basement.
Yes.
And just if you could tell us, where is that guest room located in relation to where the room with the pool table is?
Yeah, like when you go down through the stairs and you take your left, you will see like the pool table and a little kitchen, like with a refrigerator with glass on, like a nice counter. And if you go like a little bit more walking, and before the kitchen, you see a door to go to the bathroom, and then you can go to the guest room that's right after that area, like the pool.
I see.
Room, the
Okay.
kitchen.
And do you recall the first occasions or when you would go there and to go down and to clean the basement, did you notice anything when you would go down?
What do you mean?
Would you smell anything?
Yeah,
What would you smell?
a weed, like marijuana.
Okay. And when you say you would smell weed or marijuana, how strongly would you smell that?
Sometimes like you can like smells from like the top of the stair, like very strong. But sometimes there was no smell and sometimes like very light smell.
I see. Would you, when you smelled it strongly, would you do something when you were down?
Yeah, I opened the gas window
Okay. And the windows were in what room that you would open?
on the gas
The guest room?
in the gas room, and on fitness there's like a door. I just opened a little bit.
Okay. And just tell us generally about how you'd go about cleaning that basement area. What areas would you clean?
Where I clean?
Yes, just in the basement.
Yeah, I clean everything.
Okay.
I
And-
dust, I mop just the bathroom because it's all carpet. But I vacuuming, I clean like sweep the counter, clean the kitchen, clean the bedroom, everything.
Okay. And on occasion, when you were cleaning the basement and cleaning the bedroom, did you notice whether anybody was using the bedroom?
Like, I can like say yes, there was like someone there, but I just like found one day like a pair of shoes and like just one dressed shirt on the closet, just one.
I see. And was that a man
Hanger.
or a woman's shirt?
Man,
And what about the shoes?
man.
Okay. When you would go week to week, so generally Tuesdays, is that?
Yes.
When you would then go back a week later to clean the basement, would you notice what the condition of the bed was from the prior week? Meaning,
Oh, yes.
okay, and what was the condition?
Yeah, sometimes was used, like there was not, like, how can I say, like, como que eu digo a cama arrumada?
I'm sorry?
Like,
Okay. Well, let me just ask you a different question. To the extent that when you would make the bed, when you would clean,
Yes.
okay, when you would come back, did it appear that the bed had been slept in or used?
Yes.
Okay. And then would you remake it again?
Yes.
Okay. Now, During the approximately the second occasion that you were at the home of the defendants, do you recall making the bed or doing some work in the bed when something happened?
Yes.
Okay, could you just tell us what was that? What happened?
Yeah, it was just like doing the bed, but in the fitted, I just like took it off the fitted sheet, just restraining, right? And when I took it off, like pull again from like, that was like between the mattress and the bed.
Okay, I'm sorry, so when you're putting on, it's a fitted sheet?
Yes.
And what happened when you were fitting the sheet on the bed?
Yeah, when I took it off, the gang put it off on the floor.
Okay, and when you say
Pull on the floor.
something or a gun?
Yeah, a gun.
Okay, and just tell us, where was that when you said it fell? Where did it
There
fall from?
was behind the mattress. Yeah, behind the mattress.
Okay, and when you say behind the mattress, just,
I said, sorry, I mean under the mattress.
okay. And when you say under the mattress, how many mattresses were on this bed?
Just one.
Okay. And is there a, what is called a box spring, like something hard that the mattress sits on?
Yeah, like a box.
Okay. And where was this gun that fell from under the mattress in relation to the box?
Like on the middle.
Okay. And when you were working on the bed and this gun fell, just tell us, what did you do?
Yeah, I just was afraid because it could like.
What did you do?
What I do, I just took the gun and look at the gun and put it back where I thought there was.
Okay. And when this first happened, how did you feel when that happened?
I feel.
Objection is sustained.
Okay. So did you indicate you picked this item up, this gun?
Yes.
And what did you do with it?
What do you mean? I just looked again and put it back.
Okay. But when you picked it up, did you feel it?
Yes.
Okay. And just tell us how heavy it was.
It was like heavy.
Okay. When you say heavy, how much, if you know?
No, like there was like nothing like there was like field that was like full of with the magazine full.
Okay. And you say the magazine, could you see if the magazine was in?
Yes.
Okay. And just describe this gun in terms of its color. What color was it?
Black.
Okay. And about how big was this gun?
Like this big.
Okay, and just hold up your fingers if you would so the jury can see. And approximately how many inches are you holding up if you know?
I don't know.
Okay.
I can like describe in centimeters.
Okay.
Because it's like my in Brazil, like between 30 and 40 centimeters.
Okay. And just, do you know what a revolver is?
Yes.
Okay, and what is a revolver?
It's like a kind of gun, but with not magazine.
Okay.
It's
And
like with the thing like.
does it have something that can spin?
Yeah.
Was it that kind of gun?
No.
Okay. What kind of gun was it?
Was an automatic, like with the magazine, no, with the spin thing.
Oh, okay. Not with the spin thing.
No.
Now, when you picked up this item, you said it was heavy. How were you able to put it back? Or just in terms of where did you put it back?
Where, like, in the middle of the bed.
Let
Okay.
me first give you some instructions. The defendant is not charged with committing any crime, including unlawful possession of a firearm, other than the charges contained in the indictments. Testimony by this witness about any object that she may have seen in the defendant's residence cannot be considered by you as proof that the defendant has a propensity to commit any of the crimes charged or as evidence of bad character. If you credit such evidence, you may consider it to the extent you may find it relevant solely on the issue of whether the defendant had the means to commit the murder charged or to arm another with whom he was allegedly aiding and abetting with the means to commit the murder charged. You may not consider this evidence for any other purpose whatsoever. Specifically, you cannot use it to conclude that if this witness saw a firearm at the defendant's residence, he must also have committed the crimes with which he is charged.
Thank you, Ron. So I think I had asked you about when you picked up this gun, this black gun, you then put it somewhere.
Yes.
Where did you put it?
Again, under the mattress, between the box and the mattress. On the same line, there was like, the gun was like on the floor. So the gun pulled off the floor, like in the middle of the bed, like on that area. So there was not like on the beginning of the bed or not on the footer. So I just pick up the gun, look at the gun, and put it like on the middle between the mattress and the box.
I see. And which way did you put that gun back in under? Like what part was
Like
pointing in?
if this is the thing, like, and this is like the part that I hold, I put like this.
Okay, so where would, when you're indicating this, this first thing, is that
It's like,
the barrel?
yeah, it's like, I don't know the name, but where's the roll? So where's if you shoot, so the thing will go out from here.
I see.
Right? So I just like put this part face off to the wall, so like this. So the wall and the bed's here. So the head of the bed's here. So I just put like this face to there and this face to here.
I see, okay. And,
You all see the witness's fingers.
okay,
Sorry.
I'm sorry, let me just ask you this. For starters, when you said this fell while you were changing it in the middle of the bed, what side of the bed where did you see this item?
Was the side that was faced to the door.
Okay.
That goes to the pool table area.
Ma'am, I'm just going to have you turn to your left, ma'am, on the screen. Right there. And this is more a D for identification. Now, do you recognize this area over in here, or the one I'm going to start here, as part of that basement area where the bar was in the kitchen?
Yeah.
Okay. And the pool room, do you know where the pool table, I should say, do you know where the pool table would be in this room?
Yeah.
Okay. You just point that.
Here.
Okay, and you're indicating right here?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, the bedroom we've been talking about, you indicated that was off that room?
Yeah, the bedroom is here.
Okay, you're pointing right here.
Yeah.
Now, where was the bed? Against what wall was the headboard?
Like the headboard here.
You're indicating headboard here.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the footer is like here.
Somewhere in there? Okay.
Yeah.
So if we just refer to for the bed, so this would be the right side and the left if we're facing it from the foot or footer.
Yeah.
Is that right? Okay. So what side of the bed did you see the gun?
Here.
You're indicating that would be the right side?
Yeah, near the door.
Okay, near the door. And the door you're referring to is which?
This one.
This door. And that bed, You said it was in about the middle of the bed?
Yeah, it's about here.
You're indicating about here?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, on that date, when you first saw this black gun, when you put it back on the mattress as you described, how far did you put that, if you remember, like how deep under the bed?
Like near, not like too deep, just like near the bottom.
Okay, and did you put it there for a reason? Like, why did you put it that way back in?
Because I thought it was there, because if it was like deep, it doesn't go fall.
I see. And now, after you had replaced that back in the area that you thought it was originally, did you ever see that item again?
Yes.
Okay, and approximately what date would you say you first saw it?
A week after.
A week after what? I'm sorry, the very first time, the day that you're describing when it fell to the floor while you're changing the bed, what date, approximately what date was that?
I think there was like May 7th.
May 7th? And how many occasions? Oh, absolutely, Your Honor, I'm sorry. What year was that, ma'am? What, May 7th of what?
2013.
Okay. And how many times prior to that time had you been there before the date when this gun falls out from under the mattress?
Probably one time only.
Now, do you recall whether the next week, which would have been approximately May 14th?
Yeah, approximately
Okay.
May 14th.
Do you recall going to the home to work?
Yes.
And did you go again with some other people?
Yes.
And where were you assigned to work on that occasion?
Every time I start from the basement.
Okay. And when you're working in the basement, are you working alone or by yourself? I'm
Sometimes.
sorry, alone or with others?
Sometimes alone, sometimes with others.
Okay. And the next week that you go there, do you do anything, what if any work do you do in that bedroom area?
Yes.
Okay, and just tell us, first of all, when you returned a week later, the condition of the bed, what was the condition of the bed?
I don't remember for sure.
Okay. Did you do anything with regard to the bed?
Yes.
What did you do?
I just checked if the gun was there because I was afraid to fall it again.
You've answered the question after that you checked. Just
Did you check underneath the mattress, ma'am?
Yes.
And did you see anything when you checked?
Yes.
What did you see?
The gun again.
Okay. Did you see whether it was in any different position than when you had put it back the week before?
No.
Now, did you, going now to the next week, or the next time that you had an occasion be at the house, do you recall ever having to work in the bedroom again?
Yes.
And did you check again or fit the sheets on the bed?
I don't remember. I just remember that I saw the gun 2 times.
Okay. At some point after those 2 times, do you recall going there and not seeing the gun?
It was like after everything happened.
Okay, when you say after everything happened, at some point you only worked till almost the last week of June?
I worked almost the last week of June, but I come back one day before he was arrested.
Okay. But from the second time that when you had gone back and checked and saw it there till that last time, you didn't see it again, did you?
No, because I didn't check it.
Okay. So,
I don't know if it was there or not.
I see.
can affirm that.
okay. So you're unsure from that time whether it was or was not?
Yes.
Okay. Now, did you ever clean during this approximately 7 times of working there, did you ever have occasion to clean other areas of the home?
Yes.
And what other areas would you also clean outside of the basement?
I already cleaned all areas.
Okay. Would that include the first floor?
First floor, second floor.
Okay. And did you ever have occasions to clean in all of the bedrooms on the second floor?
Yes.
And just tell us, I think you said you believe there were 4 bedrooms?
Yes.
And are you familiar with one that appeared or was either a master bedroom?
Yes.
And just describe that one if you would.
The master bedroom has like a bed with if the door is here, the face of the bed, like the header, the bed, it's like on this wall right here. And the footer is like here. There was like two chairs here, one like little thing with drawers with a TV on top of that, and right in front of the bed on the other wall, it's like a door that goes to the bathroom.
I see. And was there any closets in that bedroom?
Yeah, there's like a little kitchen. It's not a kitchen, but just like a sink with like some closet there, like a kitchen thing.
Okay. Is that
On
like,
top of the sink.
Are you familiar with it?
And before this little sink, is there like a door that's like a closet.
Okay, and just describe the closet. How big is it?
Big.
Can you walk into it?
Yeah.
Okay. Can a couple of people walk into it?
Yeah, it's like 3 or 4 people.
And were there any items in the closet?
Yes.
Like what types of items?
Like clothes.
Okay.
Clothes, shoes.
Okay. And if I could, on the occasions how many occasions would you say you had gone to the second floor to clean?
Sorry?
Yeah, how many times would you say, out of all the times that you were there, how many times would you go to the second floor and clean?
I think about all the times.
Okay.
Because I finished the basement and Gracie, and some like Gracie and other girl is like finishing the second floor. So always we go all 3, usually go all 3 to the second floor, like to do the second floor.
I see.
So I never do like only the basement.
Okay.
I always help with the other stuffs.
Okay. Now, do you recall an occasion that you were at the house cleaning where Mr. Hernandez and the defendant and Shayana Jenkins were getting ready to go out?
Yes.
And was there some event they were going to or some occasion?
Yeah, like anniversary.
Okay. Did you know if they were married?
Yeah, I think they are not married.
Okay. Do you know what the nature of the anniversary was?
Something like,
Okay. Do you recall approximately what date that was?
I don't remember.
Okay. Do you recall how long you had been going to the house before that occasion when you were there and they were getting ready to go somewhere?
Like 3, 4 times.
Okay. So you think you had been there 3 or 4 times before that date?
Before what? That I came there?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. And so on this 3rd or 4th occasion you were there, where did you see them getting ready to go somewhere? Like where were they in the home?
Shayana was in the bedroom, like very well dressed, and making her hair, and Gracie told me
Okay, yeah.
that was the anniversary.
Okay.
And started stricken, and you're not being asked what anyone else said to you.
Okay.
Right, so not what Grazie told you, but just what you saw, okay?
Okay.
So you saw her doing her hair, and she had a nice dress on?
Yes.
Okay, and what about the defendant, Mr. Hernandez? Did you see him getting ready?
Yes.
Okay, and at some point, did you see the type of clothes that he was putting on?
Yes.
And were they dress clothes?
Yes.
And after, were you able to finish your work cleaning that day? In terms of the whole
No,
house?
no.
Okay, why not? What happened?
Because Shayana was in the bathroom that is inside the master bedroom, and she was doing like a hair, makeup, so, and it was like late, like I think between like 6 in the afternoon and 7 in the afternoon, and Gracie needs to go to get her daughter at school, so when we needed go out, and she asked her so if we could come back on the next day, asked Cheyenne, because we could not like wait her to get ready to clean the bathroom.
I see, okay. So as a result of her using the bathroom, ultimately you leave with the other girls,
Yes,
or the other women, I should say.
yes.
How old are these other women with you?
The cleaners?
Yes.
I don't know the age, but between like 28 to 35 years.
Okay. And when you left that day, when was the next day that you returned?
The day after,
Okay, and approximately what time did you return the day
in the
after?
morning.
And do you know what time about?
About between 8 in the morning and 10 in the morning.
And when you returned in the morning, what assignment did you have cleaning that day?
We just go upstairs to do the bathroom, but we did the bedroom too because the bed was like messed up.
I see. And when you had left the night before, was the bed messed up or made up?
Yeah, we made the bed because we cleaned the bedroom. We didn't clean only the bathroom.
I see. Now, when you returned the next day to then finish, did you end up making up that bed?
Yes,
And did you, what did you do with the bathroom?
we cleaned the bathroom.
Now, did you notice any clothing that was in or around the bedroom area?
Yes,
Okay, and what clothing did you notice?
the clothes he used the night before.
And when you say the clothes he used the night before, who is he?
Aaron.
Okay. And what clothes did you notice that he had used the night before?
Like a khaki pants and a dressed shirt
Okay. And where did you see those clothes?
on the bedroom.
I'm sorry,
In the bedroom.
in the bedroom. Do you know where you saw them?
Near the bed.
And where near the bed?
Like on beside the bed.
Okay. And were they on, meaning were they hung or were they on the floor, if you know?
I think, because I didn't do like that area, Gracie was grabbing the clothes. I was making the bed.
I see.
But I think it was on the floor, I think.
Okay.
Or on a chair.
Okay.
I don't remember for sure.
And at some point, who else was with you this second day now to finish cleaning the bathroom?
Grazielli.
And where was she when you were upstairs in the bedroom cleaning, making the bed in the bathroom?
She was with me in the bedroom.
Now, at some point, did you see her holding an article of clothing?
Yeah, she just like got the pants and just like stand to like fold and put in the closet.
Okay. And when she did that, did you see something happen?
Yeah,
And what was that?
she got a gun from the pocket and she showed me.
Okay. And when
She
you
say,
say...
Marilia, look at this.
Objection, Your Honor.
Objection is the
Oh,
same as to what was
okay,
said.
sorry.
Okay. At some point when she held it up, did you see her pull something out of a pocket?
Yes,
And what did you see her pull out of the pocket?
again.
And when you say a gun, just describe this gun.
This gun is smaller than the black one that I saw in the basement.
So it was different?
It's a different gun.
Okay. When you say it was smaller, just describe how small was it?
Oh, like, this is small.
Okay, and you're holding up your fingers, and how many centimeters would you estimate?
I think between like 15 to 20.
Okay. And what color was this gun?
This was like silver with like some details in black.
Okay. Now, when after she took this out of the pocket and you saw that was she holding this at this time?
Yes.
What did she do with it?
I don't remember if she put it back on the pocket I think she put it back on the pocket. Because I just look at the gun and go back to work. So I didn't notice what she did with the gun after this.
Okay.
Once again, let me instruct you that testimony by a witness about an object that may have been seen in the defendant's residence cannot be considered by you as proof that the defendant has a propensity to commit any of the crimes charged or as evidence of bad character. If you credit such evidence, you may consider it to the extent you may find it relevant solely on the issue of whether the defendant had the means to be armed with or to arm another whom he was allegedly aiding and abetting with a .22 caliber firearm during the commission of the offense charge. You cannot consider the evidence for any other purpose whatsoever. Specifically, you cannot use it to conclude if this witness saw a firearm at the defendant's residence, he must also have committed any of the crimes with which he is charged.
May I, Your Honor?
May.
Excuse me. Did you see what happened to the pants after that?
Yeah, she folded pants.
Okay. And how long after that, how long did you remain on that day? After that, after going there and seeing this gun that you've described, silver and black, how much longer after that were you still cleaning at the home?
Probably more like 2 or 3 times.
Okay. And how, excuse me, was there anybody else in the home when you saw this gun while you were up on the second floor?
There was nobody home.
I see. How long were you there that whole day, just in terms of time?
Like just 1 hour.
I see. Now, after that occasion, how many times would you estimate you continued to work there, either by yourself or with others?
How many days?
How many more days after that? Yes, ma'am.
Probably 2 or 3.
Now, do you recall your last day, the last day that you worked there?
What do you mean?
If I could have one moment, Your Honor.
Me.
Ma'am, do you remember working on the 25th of June?
I don't remember.
Okay. Do you remember an occasion that you went to, well, at some point, did your mother come up to visit you?
Yes.
And,
I don't remember what day.
okay, but do you ever remember an occasion where when your mother was visiting, she came along with you to help?
Yes.
And do you recall whether you went to the defendant's house on that day to clean?
Yeah, he was there.
And do you recall after that occasion whether you had ever seen him after that?
After the day that I came with my mom?
Yes, the day that you came to your mom and you said he was there, meaning the defendant, Aaron Hernandez?
Yes.
Did you ever see him after that date?
No, because he was arrested the day after.
Okay, but just using that as the last occasion that you saw him,
Yes.
okay, prior to today, right?
Yes.
Before you move to this
Okay.
area, it's 1 o'clock. We're going to take a lunch recess at this time. Keep your mind suspended. Don't discuss the case among yourselves or with anyone else.
Could all rise with the jury, please?